welcome to the Golden Dome. We're back. So, Notre Dame has just had signing day 2 days ago. It was early signing day for everybody. And Notre Dame really pulled everybody that was committed at the time. Well, everybody but two, but we'll get to that. Now, you had 24 signees, not counting the graduate transfer from the portal. And him we'll also get to later. But first, we're going to start with how Notre Dame pulled their 24 players. Now, the guys they pulled, 99% of them, not 99%, but most are 4 stars. All but, I think it's all but 3. Yeah, all but 3 are 4 stars. All but 4. So, it is the 8th class right now. I can't sort this. Of course I can't. So, of the commits, you had 1 quarterback, and that was, I scrolled past him, and it was Kenny Minchey, 4-star quarterback out of Tennessee. He is 13th at his position. Now, the way he comes in, I think he might end up being the guy, or he's going to be the compete for the second string. Steve Angeli's going to compete too. I don't know I think it'll take time to really tell if either one, if Minchey or Angeli are the better guy yet for having a younger QB. Then you also have Buckner, who's going into his junior year next year, and sophomore? Junior, I think. And you're going to have a grad transfer coming. Not a grad transfer, but I'm assuming it's going to be someone like a grad transfer because the transfer QB is on the way, is what I've heard from a lot of people. And that is why Drew Pine left to go to other places and transfer out. And I'm glad he could find a place where he has 3 years left of eligibility. Then, at running back, you have Jeremiah Love signed to the class. He is the only running back signed. And they did miss out on another 4 running back. Lamar. His last name is Lamar. I don't remember his first name off the top of my head. I don't have him pulled up. He went to Oregon. Oregon must be putting that Nike money to good use because all of a sudden they flipped 4 guys. And one of them that they flipped ended up flipping somewhere else. It shows the kid's true. It shows what the kid really was thinking. Oh well, we'll talk about him later. Jeremiah Love, great running back. He adds to a core that if Tyree leaves, again, is going to need another guy to fill in. I think Love is that guy. And even if Tyree doesn't leave, now you got 4 guys all fighting. Plus, you never know with this room. You never do. So many weird things can happen. And then we stacked up on receiver. I'm so happy. You had 4-star Braylon James out of Texas. 4-star Jaden Greathouse out of Texas. And you had Rico Flores out of California. Now, Rico Flores is 29th position at the position. Greathouse is 22nd, and James is 20th. That is 3 receivers to add to a room that may be losing a few guys this year, depending on if med redshirt happens for Davis, and maybe if somebody gets an extra year of eligibility somewhere. And then you have the transfer in from Virginia Tech, Caleb Smith. I think he was a transfer. Hold on, let me check. Because I want to make sure. Okay, he just came in. So, yeah, he was a signing. Alright, so it's somebody else that transferred in. My bad. I'm so, like, up and down backwards with this because it was a confusing couple hours. But, so that's 4 receiver. Caleb Smith is a 3-star. And he's out of Texas. He's the 74th overall receiver. And looking at it, it's good to get those 4 plus a transfer in. It's really good. I'm glad that we're stacking up. Now it's just who is the QB that's coming in, and that's the real big question mark left. On the offensive line coming in, there's not much holes to fill here that you really need to fill as of right now. I mean, yes, Patterson's leaving. I think Lugg is leaving too. Plus, you're losing one more guy that I'm not thinking of at the moment. But you're always going to get offensive linemen and defensive linemen to really stack up and to develop no matter what year it is, especially since this is Notre Dame. Charles Jagusa, sorry if I mispronounced that, 4-star out of Illinois, 6th at his position, 1st out of his state. There's 2 first out of the state, and he is one of the 2 in Notre Dame's class. Then, he is at offensive tackle, if we're not already noted. Then, on the interior, at the offensive tackle again, another 4-star, Sullivan Absher, sorry if I mispronounced that, out of North Carolina, 17th at his position. And then, and then on the interior offensive line, 4-star Jaden Otting out of Kansas, 20th at the position. Then at 25th at the position, you have Sam Peddleton out of North Carolina. And then 3-star Christopher Turek out of Illinois, 34th at his position. So if they're grabbing a couple guys just to kind of shore up the small holes that you can just, I mean, you already have kind of your solutions already right there as a backup jumping to starters, but they're there in case something happens. If a situation like 2 years ago happens where everybody goes down in certain spots. On the defensive line incoming, you have Brendan Vernon, 4-star out of Ohio, 18th at the position. Boubacar Traore, sorry if I mispronounced that, out of Massachusetts, 4-star, 22nd at his position. David Houston, 4-star out of Maryland, 34th at his position. And you have Armel Mukam, 3-star out of Virginia, 58th at his position. So you're stacking up with what? That's 4 or 5 defensive linemen. Let me check. 4 defensive linemen. You don't have a lot of defensive linemen leaving. You do have some. I would classify Foskey as an edge linebacker, kinda. To me, he's that rover. So, I mean, I'd say I'd take a linebacker to fill that spot. Someone who's got length and can play a little bit of everywhere, if you can. And I haven't seen enough tape on any of these guys to tell you if they visibly have the versatility to play like a Foskey. But Foskey was also one of a kind. I also forgot there is a tight end in the class, Cooper Flanagan out of California, 4-star tight end, 15th at his position. He is in to fill the spot of departures Cade Barong and Michael Mayer. Then at linebacker, you have Drake Bowen out of Indiana, 4-star, 8th at his position, 1st in the state. The other guy who was 1st. And you also have, finally, Preston Zimmer out of Massachusetts, 3-star, 43rd at his position. So you're stacking up on defense. This whole class with defense, sign 99% of it within the first, hour and a half. Because Freeman's such a good recruiter that he knows He knows what to bring in. He knows where to look. He knows the guys he wants, he needs. And that's what you see here. Then at corner, you have Christian Gray out of Missouri, four-star, 10th at his position. And you have Micah Bell. Yes, that is the final one. Micah Bell, four-star out of Texas, 18th at his position. So you have two corners. You're not losing very many. Cam Hart's coming back for a fifth year. You're filling that hole. You got no problems with that. You didn't really need many corners. You're not getting many corners. At safety, you have four-star Adon Schuler. I've heard a lot about him. Out of New Jersey, 31st at his position, and then 32nd at the safety position is Ben Minich out of Ohio, another four-star. Those are your two safeties of the class. I've heard a lot about Schuler and a decent amount about Minich. It'll be interesting to see, obviously, the impact of all these guys, but especially someone like Schuler. And finally, you have the athletes in the class, the only athlete, and that is four-star out of Virginia, Braden Hillman, 12th at the position. And I honestly don't know where he's going to play. I haven't done that look to kind of see where he can fit in, what's the deal. I haven't done that yet, so I don't know, but anything's possible. I mean, it depends on how the coaching staff wants him at the end of the day. Now, looking at early enrollees, right now you have Braylon James, the receiver out of Texas, looks to be an early enrollee, if that is what I think it is. Yes, that is early enrollee. You have him, corner Christian Gray, linebacker Drake Bowden, linebacker Jaden Osbury, wide receiver Jaden Greathouse, quarterback Kenny Minchie, wide receiver Rico Flores, safety Adon Schuler, safety Ben Minich, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, O-lineman Sam Pendleton, linebacker Preston Zinter are all your early enrollees as of right now, and this is according to 24/7 Sports. Now, looking at the whole class together, I'm happy with where it is. Obviously, there's still a lot of time till the actual signing day. Things can happen. Guys can flip. NLIs aren't necessarily going to say, hey, this guy's definitely coming here. But a lot of them, especially the early enrollees, probably are coming here. There's a lot less of a chance that they flip. It's not impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but there's the chance for that there. Now, here's the talk about the two guys that flipped. Now, Oregon flipped a lot of people with their Nike money, and I'll be the first one to tell you that. That's probably part of the reason that's happening. NIL is a big part of recruiting. You gotta remember that, and it's a big thing. But they just all of a sudden sniped like 5 big-name guys. 5 of them. They sniped a bunch of guys out of nowhere. That doesn't just happen. It doesn't. I don't know. Call me crazy for saying that's not normal, but it just doesn't seem normal to me. Now, they did end up pulling from Notre Dame a running back by the name of Jaden Lamar out of Washington, a 4-star, 17th at the position. Now, there was word late yesterday that Lamar was going to flip. All of a sudden, it popped up of, Lamar's looking at Oregon. Now, this was after another safety, or this was after a third safety that was supposed to be in the Notre Dame class had already just said, I'm gone. And I figured he was gone. Now, looking at it, I just said, all right, it is what it is. You don't need another running back. This wasn't a big loss, but it was like a, okay, really going to play that game. But that happens all the time. We just had Hunter, we just had the number one corner in the country from last year. This is a recruiting class. Go to Colorado to follow Deion Sanders. But then you had this whole situation happen. Now, Peyton Bowen was committed to Notre Dame. It was pretty much a for sure deal. I didn't hear Oregon's name almost at all before signing day. Signing day comes, I start hearing Oregon's name. I'm like, I'm not hearing them as concretely as normal for a guy to flip. He should be coming to Notre Dame. I didn't get to watch his thing at 12 because I was doing stuff was going down. I wasn't able to get a watch. I was in classes. It sucks. I wish I could have, or at least had it playing in my ear. But looking at it, the way he handled it was not good. He does now. It's funny if it's a little joke of he went to put on the Notre Dame hat, but he took it off and put the Oregon hat on. I was like, dude, that's why? Just make your decision and get out. If you're gonna flip. I don't play like that. I don't know what it is. It's just that doesn't necessarily show a maturity there. Why would you? I don't know why you'd want to do that with a fake out. He literally put it on and then was like, "Oh no." Why? That wasn't really necessary. Just pick your thing and go. And then within 24 hours, all of a sudden, screw Oregon. I'm going to Oklahoma. Why are you flipping again? If you weren't happy with Oklahoma or Oregon, why did you commit and sign your NLI? Why did you NLI if you didn't want to stay there? Now, he came out 22 hours ago and said, and this is a quote, "As I reflect on yesterday's whirlwind, I recognize that I made some mistakes that I regret and will learn from. Navigating this process has been a roller coaster," unquote. Now, I get it, he's regretful, but you still don't. This seems like a heavily PR'd move right here. And I get it, and at one point he goes to say, quote, I came to realize that my heart was somewhere else, unquote, when talking about Freeman and the South Bend staff talking to him, and that he just had to change of heart. I get that. And he's basically, I'm paraphrasing, he basically said that what he did was he had a change when he was up there, and he just said, you know what, I'm going Oregon. That's great, but you just don't, you don't play around like that. You should just make your decision and go. And then that brings up the issue of what happens when the going gets tough, etc., etc. I've heard some of that before. I heard a little bit of that. And then there was the thing of, oh, now he's in Oklahoma. Some of the people I am kind of with this have said, if that's where his character truly lied, we don't know if he would have fit here. I kind of agree. Because if you're going to come to Notre Dame, I think from seeing the way Freeman portrays himself and carries himself, I kind of think that this is an organization that either you're all bought in or you're not. Is what it seems to be from the outside looking in. Either you're all bought in or you're not. There's no in between. So you better be bought in, or else it's going to be rough for everybody. And looking at in hindsight, I don't know if Bowen would have been bought in. I don't know. There's so many questions that are unanswered that have been brought up with this from the past days. I don't know. But anyways, let's get on to Notre Dame and their bowl game. Now, Notre Dame will be seeing a different opponent. It's not somebody we're used to. We're not used to playing this type of game, or we're not used to playing this opponent, and that is, and it's also weird, we're in a different bowl. Well, we're close. We almost made it to a New Year's Six bowl. We're in the Gator Bowl. We were almost in the New Year's Six. Almost. But we're on December 30th. That's close enough for me for the chaos this year's been. And we're going to face South Carolina. South Carolina is a team that came out of nowhere this year with some of their victories. Now, the series history versus North Carolina, Notre Dame, before that, were in 76, 79, and 83, and they were all wins. And this is the Irish's 6th consecutive season in a bowl game, and the 11th time in 12 seasons that the Irish have seen a bowl game. And they are 19 and 21 all time in bowl games. Right, and let me check. They're giving a thing. The last time they were in the Gator Bowl was 2003 against NC State, and they lost. Now, a lot has changed since then, and I don't know why it's giving bowl history against. Okay, never mind. I read that as Oklahoma. Notre Dame is going in with the early enrollees at receiver. It lessens the burden. It fixes a problem that's been long had with Notre Dame, which is receiver. They've been very short. That fixes a big problem. Running back, you have a three-headed monster. Tyree hasn't said he's going to the draft, so he is at least playing. It could change. Things can change. He could say, I'm staying another year. I don't know. And I think O-line is a lot better than it was early in the year. I don't see us as that same team as Notre Dame was last year. Since the first few weeks against like Marshall, and I don't see them as the same team anymore. Buckner's Buckner's back to QB. I get it. Your offense is going to change. There's going to be a couple struggles that come with that, plus the freshmen coming in the door. Oh well, make it work. Freeman, I think, can make it work because now he's got a lot more experience under his belt since when Buckner was in. I think you're going to have less problems. There's less things to iron out. There's less question marks, and there's more certainty, I should say, with play calling. And that's the same thing with Reese, too. I think Reese was having problems early in the year that he realized someone must have said something to him to light the fire, whether it's you're close to losing your job or something, where he just said, throw the playbook out, throw parts of it out, and we're going to do what works. Finally, and it worked. It really did, and I'm proud. I'm proud that it finally clicked. That somebody said, hey, do the things that work and only the things that work because everything else isn't working. But that's just a small look at the bowl game. I will look a lot more as it gets closer because then we'll know a lot more details. And there's just a little bit more to go off of. I mean, the bowl game is a week away. I should have a video ready for then, plus a hype video. I don't know what the video will do. I just kind of need more time to look it over. But anyways, this has been the Golden Dome. I'll see you guys later.